Many people don't want to acknowledge that the black community are the chosen people because let's get deep into this. Because in reality, they have the knowledge that most people don't have. Like, the only reason why people know how to farm is because of the black community. The only reason why we have the music that we have today is because of the black community. There wouldn't be no rock or metal if it wasn't for blues and jazz. There wouldn't be pop music if it wasn't for disco. There's a lot of things that they created that white people never did. White people really don't have that deep of knowledge. It's either stolen ideas or they're bought. Let's be real. What did white people really invent? You could say Tesla from Elon Musk, but he didn't make that. It was a stolen idea. If you go read what he did, he literally stole the whole business. You could say Trump, but what did Trump do? Stolen ideas, copied somebody else's ideas, just like his speeches. It's like a lot of white people just copy people. I mean, look at the dances on here. Who created those dances? The black community. And that's why this app's so boring right now, because it's not because all this stuff that's going on and the negativity. The black community literally just took their energy away. That's why this app was positive, because a lot of the white people were copying their dance move, copying this, copying that, and they stopped doing it, stopped posting on here, because none of you will give them the credit or the acknowledgement that they created that dance move or that idea. Before this land was taken, white people had no clue what the fuck to do.
Family, for the longest time now, there's been a lot of stereotypes in white communities in America about black people. Many children, white children to be specific, are growing, having a lot of these negative, ideologies about black people. And this has always been a lie. There's this group of white individuals who are woke and have started preaching about the truth. White individuals who have accepted that black people have something special in them, that black people were the real innovators. White people have started accepting and saying that they know that black people are actually the authors, the owners of civilization in the world. The very first civilization came from black people. Talk about mathematics, talk about physics. These are things that were first founded by black folks in Africa. And white people who are woke have started trying to bridge the gap, saying that it's time that we give black folks their flowers. It's time that we accept that these people are actually special. Some of them have also gone further, saying that black people are actually God's chosen people, and they're calling for white folks to stop the hate, to stop the jealousy, and rather to assimilate and start working together with black people to ensure that the world has a loving community oneness. So far, I want you to watch this video of white individuals, taking their time to accept and say that they are aware that black people are God's chosen people, and that they want white people to respect and uphold this. So far, I want you to watch this video. Once the series of videos are done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this video together, family.
So I just want to start off by saying that I feel really weird doing this video, but I have to, because last night God came to me, and it's a lot. And I remembered I remembered everything as God was explaining this to me. So God explained to me that black people are the chosen people. Why? Because black people have had to stand up to authorities more than anyone. And if you think about what that means, standing up to authorities isn't really fighting them. It's telling them, hey, you're not treating me right. You're not above me, right? It's another way of saying God created all of us equally. And that's the truth. If you think about it, the government authorities, they're not above you. They're just playing a role. They're wearing a costume. But true freedom, which is what we were created with, is such that everyone is on an equal playing field. If you removed the systems, the government, we're all equal. No one is above you. No one is below you. And so that's why Black people are the chosen people, because they've had to do that more than anyone. And what else was I shown? Man, there was so much, you guys. But they showed me why Black people love Jesus is because Jesus doesn't need praise. Jesus just came as a messenger, as God, to tell people that Black people are the chosen people. Basically, Jesus came here to tell the people. He didn't want any credit. He just wanted to tell people Black people are the chosen people. So, yeah, I remembered all of this last night, and it was a lot. But that's what's happening today. Sorry, there's one more thing that God told me last night that I almost forgot. God told me that Jesus's soul is like black. It's like a black person. Because Jesus stands up to authorities too. And so the soul of Black people and the soul of Jesus is the same. And so Jesus comes as a messenger to tell the people, trust me, I don't know why I'm the one getting this information, but Jesus comes to tell the people that Black people are the chosen ones. That their soul is the closest thing to God, because God wants people to know that they're free, that that's their birthright, that your birthright is to stand up to authorities and be like, hey, you're not above me. We're brothers. Like, we're the same. We're equals. So yeah, that's all. I love you.
Racism is about jealousy. If you think that's a reductive statement, please stick with me. When I say jealousy, I'm talking about insecurity, which is really what jealousy is, but I think it's easier to understand if I say insecurity rather than just jealousy. Because we know from appropriation that we are very jealous of other cultures. Why would we want to listen to the music, eat the food, wear the clothes, do the hairstyles, have everything, the language, but not give credit where credit is due and not uplift the people who created it? White people are so lost in feeling like they don't have a connection to culture, especially many of us who are very far removed from our European roots. And I think the need to fill that space and that insecurity of this lack of culture and lack of something to call our own is often filled with cultural appropriation and the idea that being white is superior. I was first introduced to this concept of racism being jealousy in college, and I can't trace it back to one particular scholar, but I would like to give credit where credit is due to that Black scholar. If you can find anything tracing it to one particular person, please leave that in the comments. I think it's important to think about racism in this way if we want to unlearn it. Because, as some people say who are non-monogamous, or anyone who's just working on their relationships, jealousy is an indicator that something is not quite right with us. It's an indicator of our insecurity and how we might be feeling. It's not about what our partner is doing or what someone on Instagram is doing with their life that makes us feel inadequate. It's about something going on inside. And I think we really need to interrogate that. What is it about people of color showing excellence, people of color maybe being more in touch with culture, people of color being more in touch with the environment, people of color making better food, and everything else that we envy? What does that trigger in us? And why do we have the need to put those people down? It's about jealousy. And if we can figure out that we're feeling that way and trace that feeling back to maybe some of our unconscious biases, I think it's a lot easier to start thinking about, how can we unlearn that? How can I feel secure in my identity as a white person who has roots in maybe Italian and like other cultures, but like doesn't really feel connected to anything? How can I feel secure in myself to not want to put others down? Whether that be racism or any other form of discrimination, or just plain hating on another woman because she's amazing. You know, I think this makes it seem like racism is very simple, but it also just helps us frame it in a way that's accessible to us. We know that dismantling racism starts with individual work, and personal growth is all about thinking about the hard things about yourself and the things and parts of yourself that you don't like. And jealousy is one of those things. No one wants to be jealous. It's an awful, awful feeling. And we don't want to admit that we're jealous. And we shy away from that, but it's something we can interrogate, and I think that is going to help us go a long way. Anyway, just my thoughts. Happy Juneteenth. I hopefully will speak about this more coherently in the future. Yeah, Black Lives Matter.
So I was raised that Black people were God's favorite and they were the superior race. And it was interesting to be raised with that mentality, because I think it's different than a lot of how other white people were raised. And I do believe that if more people were raised this way, the world would be a little bit better of a place, and maybe we can get along a little bit nicer together. Obviously, there's pros and cons to everything. So I would love to discuss the pros and cons of what it was like to be raised with this mentality, as well as what you think about it and what you think we should do going forward to raise the next generation of children who are carrying the future for us. So how this mentality came about, I was really quizzical and curious as a child and very outspoken. It's interesting to look back now that we're in this ginger talk right now. I'm kind of reliving a few of the silly little traumas that we face as gingers. And I noticed that I was more outspoken between the ages of 0 and 8. And once I started getting really made fun of as a ginger, I kind of lost my voice and I wasn't as brave or outspoken, and I was shy and timid. So it's kind of interesting to have that realization now, so many years later. Anyway, back to the important topic here. The way that this mentality was brought on to me was, as I said, I was very outspoken and, I was quizzical and curious as a child. So before the age of 6, I asked my mom, why do we call them Black people when they're more different shades of brown? And I asked her, why do people treat them differently or call them names? What does this mean? Why is this happening? And how do you explain race and racism to a child that is under the age of 6 in a way that they can understand? Because obviously they're not going to be able to comprehend or grasp the entirety of the depth of what racism really truly is. So how do you explain that to a child? She knew that I loved my brownies and my cookies baked a little bit longer than you're supposed to, because the crispy edge of the brownie was always my favorite. And I loved when the chocolate chip cookie was a little bit crispy on the outside and a little gooey on the inside. And that was the perfect way to bake the cookies and bake the brownies. So she used that analogy. And yes, it sounds crazy, but as a 4-year-old child, it made perfect sense. And she used that analogy and she said, you know how you like your cookies and your brownies baked a little bit extra? That's kind of what God did with Black people. He took more time and more love into creating Black people. And that's why they're a little bit darker than you. He just baked them a little bit longer. That's how she described race to me. And she said that anybody who talks badly about them or is mean to them is just jealous. So right away, I was kind of just completely infatuated and just in awe of Black people, because I'm oh my gosh, what is it like to be God's favorite? What is it like to, just be loved a little bit more from God? I just thought it was incredible and amazing. And so I always just gravitated towards Black people because I was oh my God, they're so lucky. Do they know how lucky they are? How cool is it that God spent a little bit more time on them? I was fascinated by it. And
Many people don't want to acknowledge that the black community are the chosen people because let's get deep into this, because in reality they have the knowledge that most people don't have. Like, the only reason why people know how to farm is because of the black community. The only reason why we have the music that we have today is because of the black community. There wouldn't be no rock or metal if it wasn't for blues and jazz. There wouldn't be pop music if it wasn't for disco. There's a lot of things that they created that white people never did. White people really don't have that deep of knowledge. It's either stolen ideas or they're bought. Let's be real. What did white people really invent? You could say Tesla from Elon Musk, but he didn't make that. It was a stolen idea. If you go read what he did, he literally stole the whole business. You could say Trump, but what did Trump do? Stolen ideas, copied somebody else's ideas, just like his speeches. It's like a lot of white people just copy people. I mean, look at the dances on here. Who created those dances? The black community. And that's why this app's so boring right now, because it's not because all this stuff that's going on and the negativity. The black community literally just took their energy away. That's why this app was positive, because a lot of the white people were copying their dance move, copying this, copying that, and they stopped doing it, stopped posting on here, because none of you will give them the credit or the acknowledgement that they created that dance move or that idea. Before this land was taken, white people had no clue what the fuck to do. They were taught their language, they were taught how to farm, they were taught how to season their food that they still don't know how to do. That's another thing, seasoning. All their favorite foods, barbecuing. You love the barbecue, right? That was the black community's idea. This is why they are chosen. They have the knowledge that most people don't have. There's a possibility there is white people who are chosen, because let's face the facts. What happened during the Roman times and the slavery and all this other stuff, the black women were getting raped. So they were having their children. So there might be a bigger chance than we think that a lot of white people might have possibly a little black in them. That's why white people are jealous of them, because they know they have no creative ideas. They don't know how to cook, some of them. They don't know how to do much anything. They have to copy and paste everything the black community does, because they have no ideas of their own, or they're jealous of their looks, jealous of their ding-dongs, whatever. Because their light is shining more than white people's. And honestly, the Bible says there's antichrists everywhere. The Antichrist, blah, blah, blah. But white people are the Antichrist. You have no Christ consciousness whatsoever. If anything, you try to erase Christ consciousness. I mean, look at all of you right now in this day and age. But yeah, none of you has Christ consciousness. Most white people are full of hate. And a lot of black people are full of love. How do I know this? Because the black community treated me better than my own race. Let's just face the facts right there. The black community has treated me better than the white people. Back to the Antichrist, though. You had Jim Jones. You have Trump. You have a bunch of white people always saying they're trying to save the world, and they always don't. Those are Antichrists. Always white people doing it. But yeah, most of our knowledge that we know today, the music we have today, the foods we have today, is all from the black community's ideas, which is Christ consciousness, and God gave that knowledge for a reason.
I don't mean to say this like to be disrespectful, and maybe some people are going to think this sounds dumb, but I feel like there's a deeper reason why, people of color and specifically the black community have been relentlessly persecuted. Like, I mean, just the things that happened during slavery alone, like, were insane. But I don't know, the more I learn about Black history and the ways that, people who literally worked in the government, like the CIA, all these different people in power were trying to ruin the Black community. And it makes me think, dude, I feel like, is there something more going on here than just racism? Because it's like, come on, you're telling me you're doing all of this stuff just because you don't like someone's skin color? I feel like, what if, I have this theory that, like, what if Black people have some type of superpower? Like, what if they have, I don't know, if they're just born with something very valuable that we don't really know about, but maybe, like I said, these people, these rich people and these people in power, maybe they figured it out a long time ago, and maybe that's why they were like, oh, we have to, like, get rid of them, blah blah blah. I don't know, I feel like maybe they have something special that we are not taught about, that is linked to them being people of color, And I've seen some Black creators come on here and try to explain how special it is to have melanin in your skin and how it has all these different properties. But I don't know, I just feel like I have this theory that this goes so much deeper than maybe a lot of us realize, because I'm sorry, but I don't think you're gonna go out of your way for all these hundreds and hundreds of years to try to ruin one group of people over something as silly as, oh, their skin is a different color. Like, I feel like there's something that we don't know. I'm telling you, there's something special about them that they don't want us to know. Okay, this is just something that I've been thinking about recently, and I'm like, maybe if there are some Black creators that maybe they already made a video and I just didn't see it, I don't know, but like, I don't know, maybe this sounds dumb, like, or maybe this is like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, but, it's just something I was thinking about.
Family search information and rarely gotten in the internet. But I have found this series of videos that I've just presented of white people trying to bridge the gap. White people who are woke and have accepted, that indeed Black people are God's chosen people, that indeed Black people who are innovators, that Black people were authors, that Black people knew about cooking even before their white counterparts knew, that Black folks, knew education, they were builders, in this video, some of the white people are saying that Black people are actually God's chosen people. Blacks have the knowledge that most people do not have. Black people have this knowledge that many people survive with today. The knowledge of cooking, the knowledge of clothing, the knowledge of building, the knowledge of education, the knowledge of mathematics that people thrive with today came from Black individuals. The reason people farm is because of the Black communities. The farming you see today, these are things that started with Black folks. And these are not my revelation, but what white individuals in the video have mentioned. They also mentioned that the music we have today is because of the Black people. White people don't have these deep ideas. They stole the knowledge and rewrote history. There's this white guy in the video who mentions that the Teslas you're seeing today, the Mercedes you're seeing today, that many of you think started with white individuals, are actually things that were copied. The original ideas came from Black individuals. And they are saying that it is time that we give Black people their credit. It's time that we accept that these people were actually, the original civilization came from them. There are people who ought to be respected, and everything that is happening in the world today is revolving around the innovations that came from Black people. One of the people proceeds to say that the Teslas you see today are stolen ideas. They were taught language, cooking, and this is why they are the chosen people. They have the knowledge that many people do not have. The next lady went further and said that there is a lot of jealousy when it comes to Black people. She says that white individuals like her, according to what she's found out, white people like her have a lot of jealousy to Black people because Black people have a culture. Black people can relate, to their roots, unlike many white people. She says that racism is all about jealousy. White people do not have a connection to culture. They are jealous that black people are connected to their own. They are jealous that black people actually were they actually innovators. Everything nice you see today came from black folk. And that jealousy has always been center stage to jealousy. It has always been a center stage to racism that we are seeing today, the jealousy that white folk have against the black people. And family, I want to tell you today that the only reason there is hate, the only reason why black people have suffered in the hands of the white individuals is because of the knowledge that they had. They took the books of innovations that black people had. They banned the black history. They hid it from black communities. They came and started preaching, about religion to try and wipe out the knowledge that what black people had. They came and ensured that any evidence of innovations in black communities all over the world were gotten rid of. They came and introduced themselves as the innovators, as the civilizers, and that's why black people have been put to a lot of problems over the years. Talk about slavery, talk about colonialism in Africa. These were initiatives that were trying to whitewash things that black people had already done in the past. And family, having seen these white individuals come up with these stories and say that there is something special about black people and confess that these black people are God's children is one thing that is rare. This does not happen every day, and I respect these white individuals, even for them taking their phones, doing that video to just try and educate their fellow white counterparts in regards to the black communities and what black people have been going through over time. Why do we have the need of putting blacks down? It's about jealousy. Many of these people want to put black people down because of jealousy. They know what black individuals have done over the years. They know what it will mean to them if they are lifted high. Family, why did they hide the innovations that black people did? Why did they whitewash black stories? These are some of the reasons that just tells you that there is something special about black people that many a times white supremacists have worked so hard to ensure that they dim, to ensure that that is not known to the public. This information has been hidden to black people and everyone all over the world for so many years, and I'm glad that white people are coming up and discussing about these issues boldly. Guys, like this video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'd be very, very grateful. I'd also request you all to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this specific episode. Do you think these white individuals who are confessing in this video, do you think they are saying the truth? As a black person and as a white folk, do you think it's true that black people, have a lot of this information that today we see as things that were innovated by white folk? Guys, I'd also request that you consider subscribing to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and guys, I'd really appreciate if you all would share this video with your friends and family. Thank you, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.